All right. I think it's getting recorded, and I'm also sharing my screen, so that should be visible to everyone. All right. All right, cool. Today, we actually have a different kind of virtual meetup compared to other meetups out there because we have our anniversary coming up pretty soon. Actually, just next week. Uh, we don't have a whole lot of information, content to share here for the meetup. So we're just going to talk about all the progress that have been made. Preparing for the alpha version, the Elastos Smart Web alpha version for the anniversary by the end of the month, and also some of the things that are coming up in Cyber Republic, and then we'll take questions. So if there are not a lot of questions at the end, I think we should be done pretty early. So let me get started. So what's on the agenda? Review since last meetup, questions I collected from Reddit and from Telegram, upcoming events, the evangelist training, anniversary preview, post-anniversary preview, and what's coming up on Cyber Republic. All right, so since the last meetup, we've actually had a lot of meetups organized by the community members, organizers, especially in Vancouver, San Diego, Toronto, and also one of the biggest event of all, China Joy event. And as you all know, we put out an article regarding the China Joy event, and also you can read more about that in the weekly article from last week, I believe, if you wanted to dive deep into it. I just wanted to talk briefly about the TV box with Elastos carrier in it, because there seems to be a lot of confusion, and just wanted to clarify, what does it actually mean. So the TV box, first of all, this TV box is not really produced by Elastos, because Elastos doesn't really have any of those business as far as TV box goes. It's basically the only thing that Elastos is involved in is the Elastos carrier. So the TV box, if you're not familiar with how a TV box works, you can basically use it to watch some TV channels, and do some remote control of the channels, and then stream from your phone, whatever. Like all those kind of things are possible with the TV box, right? And so in addition to that, which was this TV box, it has been around, at least the company that is mass producing this, it has been around for quite a while. The only thing that has changed now is on top of the TV box, it actually also has Elastos carrier installed in it. That's the only additional feature that the TV box has that it didn't have before. Now, what does it actually mean? It means that if you didn't read some of the articles, that one of our admins, TI from South Africa, actually participated in using an app from South Africa in order to control the TV channels that was in China at the China Joy event. So he was able to do the remote control from South Africa to China Joy event. And usually whenever you talk about a TV box, a regular TV box, what happens is, whenever you try to do something like this, yes, it is possible today. It's not that this is not something new. It is possible today. The only difference is, every time you try to do something like this from your phone, it basically has to contact a central server, and then the central server then connects to the TV box, and then receives whatever signal from your phone, and then it basically controls the TV or sends the signal appropriately. That's how the traditional TV boxes work. With the Elastos carrier, none of that central server is involved. It is completely peer-to-peer. So whenever TI actually, tried remote controlling one of the TV channels from South Africa, he basically didn't have to go through any central server. He could directly, use the Elastos carrier nodes to directly connect to this TV box, because the TV box also has a carrier in it now. And they were able to talk to each other completely peer-to-peer in a decentralized manner. That was the only thing that is different. Now, the implications of this is huge, because it means that it is the first ever, functioning part of Elastos carrier that has been deployed in a production TV box. And the company that is producing this TV box is also planning to get a lot of these boxes out by the end of the year. I believe they're shooting for 1 million boxes, and that's pretty much what the Elastos carrier is. Has to do with TV box in the future, because we're also working with partners like IOEX, which focus on updating the software over the air in a completely decentralized manner using Elastos carrier. IOEX network is actually built on top of Elastos carrier. So in the future, if we wanted to update, with more features, like let's say wanted to put IPFS feature on top of this same TV box, and also some other features that are not there today, it could be possible using IOEX or like just using carrier network. It'll be possible to update this over the air, so that people don't have to buy a new TV box, because it has Elastos carrier in it already. So they should just be able to update that pretty automatically and for future features. So again, this is just the alpha version. Just wanted to clarify some of the misconceptions that were out there with the TV box. Another thing down the list is University of Texas and Arlington visit. Kevin, Clarence, and I actually went to University of Texas in Arlington. We talked to the CS professors, the deans, and so we had a really productive discussion. There's a lot of information that came out of that visit, especially being able to collaborate with that university in the future. With the undergrad and the grad students, where we can help each other out, maybe like sponsor some of their senior projects, where these seniors in the software engineering project that they have, the capstone project, they could possibly work with Elastos to develop an application on using Elastos platform. That's just one of the many different collaboration opportunities that is possible. And this is still in the works. Nothing is finalized, but we feel pretty comfortable and confident that this is likely to happen in the future. In addition to also maybe having some courses offered, maybe like giving out certificates after the completion or something like that. So all of that is still in talks, but it is likely to happen. So stay tuned for that. As far as the other review, if you don't know, or if you haven't yet completed the BGX BitGame airdrop, it is on August 20th, midnight. So make sure to get in your ERC20 address on the web wallet for Elastos, wallet.elastos.org, so that you can receive some airdrops. There. Don't want to go into too much detail here, because all of the information is already available. So let me go ahead and move over to some of the questions from the community. Some of the questions that I got was, the first question is, who are the miners? Bitmain, people with ASICs, can I be a miner? Can I personally merge mine Ella? Is this something that is out of reach as a retail investor? So as far as miners, as we've been saying, it is merge mined. So if you can, if you have an existing machine that can already mine Bitcoin, then all you need to do is update the software, the client software, and then you'll be able to mine Bitcoin and Elastos at the same time. Now, right out of the gate, it might not be available to everyone because this is something that needs to be treated carefully. So there needs to be a lot of testing, internal testing and so on and so forth. And so that's where the Bitmain partnership comes in, because if we were to go, out in the open world, like production, with pretty much everyone, it would be chaos everywhere. And we don't want any sort of, problems to occur, at least in the testing phase. And also we don't want any sort of 51% attacks happening on the Elastos blockchain. So because of that, Bitmain, and I'm not sure, like, in the next few months, like, this merge mining will start. More details will be available in the future, but Bitmain will be offering their partnership with Elastos, so that people like in I think BTC.com pool and Antpool, they can update their software and then they can start mining through Bitmain client softwares, mine Bitcoin and Elastos at the same time. So at least to start with. Eventually, all of this will be public. Anyone can do it. So that's at least the goal. All right, next question. I've also read on this subreddit that staking is mentioned in the white paper. I haven't found any references to staking in the white paper. Could someone please kindly show me where it mentions staking? So staking is going to be available, and it is something that is in the works. We don't have any more details other than that, but as you know, Elastos actually has, instead of going pure POW, it actually has POW plus DPoS consensus. So there will be staking, but as far as like the details, it will come in the future. I would say, stay patient, and you will hear about this in the near future. So are there bounties for Elastos? Yes, there are bounties for Elastos. You can already go to cyberrepublic.org and then go to community, tasks, projects, whatever. There's actually a whole bunch of tasks that are already available for you to take on. So those are, and right now there's not a lot, but after the anniversary, that will ramp up, because that is the official launch for Cyber Republic. So there will be a lot of these tasks that are available for any of the community members to go on and tackle. So the next question is an IOEX a competitor? No, IOEX is not a competitor. They are our partners, and they actually, even their decentralized peer-to-peer network, it is built on top of Elastos Carrier. So it is completely reliant on Elastos Carrier. So the only, another thing also, a little bit of difference between how Carrier works, because like if you look at IOEX white paper, you see a lot of a similar thing like with Elastos Carrier. The reason for that is Elastos Carrier, you can think of Elastos Carrier as a very lightweight version of, this Carrier network. And so it should be pretty easy to install it on many of the devices out there, because it is lightweight, because of that, it basically, you can think of Elastos Carrier as a skeleton, right? That provides the basic interface, basic functionality, but it doesn't provide any of the sophisticated functionalities that many of the other applications might want for themselves. So in order to make that happen, well, something like IOEX, who specialize in updating, software and delivering files, like, update files, and pretty much automatically updating for the enterprises and all these smart devices, they can build on top of Elastos Carrier, and then basically, they can wrap the interface that the Elastos Carrier provides, and then have more sophisticated, more complicated functionalities, and that's pretty much what IOEX is doing. So it's not like they're competitors. IOEX most definitely uses Elastos Carrier. It's just with IOEX, it is very specialized in what they're trying to do, so that they can leverage Elastos Carrier network, and then on top of Elastos Carrier, then they're building their own peer-to-peer network, where and that's pretty much like you can think of IOEX as something that sits on top of Elastos Carrier, not something that is alternating to Elastos Carrier. All right, next question. Bitcoin has 9317 full nodes globally. I don't know about that number, but let's assume it does. How big of a deal is that Elastos will potentially have 1 million active nodes by the end of the year? What will be the difference between a full Bitcoin node and a pre-installed Elastos node in the Shanghai TVs? So this goes back to some of the misconceptions again regarding the nodes. On Elastos, there are two kinds of nodes. One is the mining node, one is the carrier node. The mining node only has to do with blockchain. So pretty much all the mining nodes, they reach consensus through POW for the main chain, and then for sidechain, you can use POW, DPoS, whatever you want for sidechain, right? Those are the kind of nodes they're called mining nodes, the blockchain nodes. That is completely separate than when we talk about the TV nodes, because those are our carrier nodes. And the carrier nodes are pretty lightweight in nature, as I mentioned earlier. So these carrier nodes are part of the Elastos carrier network, not the Elastos blockchain network. Those are two different kinds of networks, right? So Elastos carrier network requires all these different nodes, to be set up all over the world, so that anytime an application has to, let's say as an example with TI from South Africa, when he had to, when he was trying to remote control the TV box in China, he actually had to, he could basically, the communication was done through these carrier nodes that are installed. Like, I think at least for that testing phase, I think some of the carrier nodes were in AWS and some of them were in China, some of them all over the world pretty much. So that's the difference, the main difference between mining node and carrier node. So it makes sense that, because it is very easy to install Elastos carrier on top of the existing smart devices like TV box, smart speakers, whatever, right? It'll be very easy to reach that number, 1 million active nodes for the carrier network. And again, for the carrier network, the more nodes there are, the faster the network is going to be, because then the communication can be done in a very short amount of time by taking the fastest route possible. Whereas for the mining node, that's a completely different thing. All right, Clarence wanted to add on to this. I'm going to unmute him. Give me a second here. I'm trying to find participants. All right, you're unmuted, Clarence.
Hi, cool. I just wanted to talk about the question. There was one part in the question that said, "Is this a big deal?" There's one cool thing that's a big deal is that in the future, we hope that the carriers nodes can opt in to use some of their excess processing power to run the API services that we're going to build on Elastos. So that might be something really interesting that is something we could leverage in the future. And we're already talking about running like Lambda type functions on these carrier nodes. If we have 1 million out there, and if you don't mind, like you have a smart speaker that has some extra processing power left over, you can opt into some sort of service where you can offer that extra processing power and earn some money. So that's actually really cool. We can actually have this, that's kind of will help us give more processing power for this network operating system that we're building.
Awesome. That's a really good point. All right. Moving on to the next question. Am I right in saying that ultimately the data has to be kept within the Elastos network to remain secure? So anyone outside of the network who an Elastos user grants access could lose control of all that data. So Elastos network, again, it's still built, it still utilizes the existing internet, but it just sits on top, and that is more secure, more reliable, more trustworthy. And you can think of Elastos network as sort of a closed environment where nothing gets out, nothing gets in, and even all the data that flows around, they are completely within this Elastos network. So that if you wanted to, take the data out even, and then maybe interact with some other applications that are not even using Elastos network, that kind of thing will be possible. But again, that is something that you can utilize through the SDK. But as far as I'm not sure what they were asking for the second part, like user grants access, lose control of all the data. All the data, all the data that is stored let's say, for your personal cloud drive, you have your movies, your pictures, your personal data stored in your home somewhere. That data is always yours to keep. So, and it is not accessible by anyone except you, because of your ID. Your authentication has to be verified first. And the same thing applies to all the data that is stored in the IPFS network. So even if all the data, big data is distributed all across the network, you can't really, even if you do know someone's ID, like user ID, you can't really do anything about that, because you first need to get friend listed to that other person, and then only then you can communicate with each other. So in that sense, you truly own your own data. So as long as you have those private keys, because everything is public key, private key pair, encrypted that way. So as long as you have your private keys with you, you should be able to access it, and only you can decide who can access your data. You can have a micro website that you might want to open up only to your families, to your friends. Yes, you can do that using your own computer, using a throwaway computer that you have, sitting somewhere in your basement or something that is behind the router, and that is completely possible. But then, like, if you wanted to build a really big, like, application, website, whatever, that you want to reach 1 million customers maybe, well, your data, you need a lot of bandwidth for that. So you need to utilize the IPFS network to store your data. And so it'll be faster that way. And for something like that, yes, you will need to pay in Ella. Anything that you need to do on the Elastos Smart Web, everything, usually the base currency is Ella, because that's pretty much how this new economy will work. All right, I think I just answered that last question, so I'm going to move on. That was 20. Okay, moving on. A little bit about upcoming meetups. All right, so we got upcoming meetups. Obviously, the anniversary event is on August 25th. And then right after that, we have an event meetup in Bangkok. And then Shenzhen, September 1st, Singapore, September 3rd, DC, September 8th, and Atlanta, Georgia, September 17th, I believe. For the last two meetups, DC and Atlanta, those will be in the weekly report this week, and we're also going to advertise that starting next week. But those are organized by the community members again. So those are the meetups that those are the first meetups, actually. That's the first meetup in DC for Elastos ever. And we already have more than 30 developers just wanting to join this meetup. So I think that will be really exciting. And we'll be sure to record that and put it on YouTube later. All right. Elastos Evangelist Training. So in addition to the anniversary event, we actually also have the training, if you haven't heard about it. Only 10 people were selected for this evangelist training. And this runs from August 21 through 20. Actually, 21 is the check-in day, so nothing goes on 21. But 22, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th are the main event for this training, where we talk about Elastos, go into in-depth about Elastos, Cyber Republic, what are the goals in the future, workshops, blockchain review, token economy, digital assets, pretty much everything that has to do with Elastos. And this goes on for like 6-7 hours a day. So this is a pretty intense training event. And then we'll have a lot of demos and things like that. We'll be recording this so that in the, maybe a week later or something, we're going to put this on YouTube so that pretty much anyone can also, watch these videos. We're also thinking about having like a webinar link so that even if you're not in Thailand, you can actually join that webinar link at any time and then actually join us and then, participate in that virtually. So that's something in the works, and Kevin can talk about that at the end today. But that's pretty much the goal of this evangelist training, right? We want to empower these people, teach them everything about Elastos, and even like I myself, like I need to learn a lot about Elastos. So we're going to have a lot of core team members actually giving presentations, going into technical details and everything that is Elastos, so that we are better prepared because after the alpha version, after the anniversary, everything is going to start ramping up pretty rapidly here. So we need as many people as we can on the ground to be, training other people. So these people who are at the training, our goal is for them to then take whatever knowledge that they gained and then basically, make videos, make tutorials, like hold up local events in their own community, and then basically teach other people about Elastos, getting developers on board and things like that. Now, this is not the only training event we'll have this year. We're also planning on, in the future, we're also planning on having additional training. Maybe like next time we'll actually have one in the US. So that is something that we will definitely talk about. That's pretty much what the evangelist training is all about. Anniversary preview. If you haven't submitted your anniversary hello video, be sure to do that at this link. And also there's an anniversary landing page where we put out the rough agenda for the anniversary event, and also the Zoom links, the YouTube links. These YouTube live stream links might change at the last minute, so instead of saving like an actual YouTube link, just be sure to save this particular link, elastos.org/en/anniversary-event, so that on the day of the anniversary event, on the day of the post-anniversary recap, Q&A, you can just go to this website directly and just start streaming the YouTube video from there, and also the Zoom meeting if you wanted to join in. So that's our goal with the anniversary. So going over the rough agenda for the anniversary. The first thing is anniversary. We have the Hello Elastos video showcase, and then the team is going to talk about the review of Elastos, all the progress that has been made in the last year, development-wise, partnership-wise, everything, right? The financial report will also be available at the anniversary. Lots of other great news and announcements that I haven't included here, obviously. Official launch of Cyber Republic. There's going to be lots of DApps presentation in the afternoon, and then we're going to have a dinner, and then I believe the projected number of people who are going to show up at the anniversary, I think it's well over 150. So it's going to be a big event, and we're also planning on having some reporters there so that we can try to advertise this event, because it is a pretty big deal for Elastos. Someone asked what date. It's August 25th is the anniversary. Just be sure to save that anniversary landing page, because that has all the information in there, so you can just go to that landing page on the day of the anniversary and then just check out the YouTube link from there. All right, post-anniversary preview. So because the anniversary actually goes on for 8 hours, I think. It's a lot of content, right? So, yes, Clarence asked, that's Thailand time. Yeah, the landing page actually says that it is Thailand time, so it should be there. Post-anniversary preview. We're going to recap the anniversary, all the major news and announcements, everything that was talked about, and we're going to give a brief summary of the anniversary pretty much to people who couldn't join in, or people who are too lazy to join into the live stream, because it is pretty long. People might go on and off during the day, so that's not a problem. Make sure to, even if you cannot join the main, we hope that everyone can join the anniversary event through live stream, so that we have a lot of people all over the world watching. But in addition to that, also be sure to join in to our post-anniversary preview, because there's going to be lots and lots of Q&A that people might have about the news and announcements. So be sure to tune into that for sure. And we're going to have everyone there, even the people, the community leaders, organizers, they will be there as part of this post-anniversary virtual meetup. So we have 2 of these meetups, post-anniversary meetups. One of them is the same day, the 25th at night. That is to accommodate people in Europe. And then we have another post-anniversary meetup the next morning, the morning of the 26th, to accommodate the people in the US. So, the content of these will be same, but obviously, because there might be new people, they might have some new questions. So be sure to tune into both of these if you can. If not, at least tune into one of them. Well, if you can't tune into either of them, well, you're just gonna have to wait until we upload these videos on YouTube. All right, so what's coming up on Cyber Republic? I'm gonna let Clarence talk about this after I get done here. But there's a lot of upcoming, projects and a lot of things that are planned for Cyber Republic in the near future, especially after the anniversary. First and foremost is our developer portal. We're gonna have lots and lots of new content for developers to onboard new developers coming in, teaching them about Elastos, like creating simple demo apps, the end-to-end demo. All of that will be available on Cyber Republic when we go official at the anniversary. And there's going to be a Teams feature where people can actually, depending on the project, they can put their own skill set. They can basically look for a team that they can work with for a specific project, for a specific D app they're building. You can think of it as similar to a party finder in games, right? We also have a new GitHub profile dedicated for the Cyber Republic developer community. Now, the idea behind having two different GitHub repositories is that we have the main GitHub repository, which is github.com/Elastos. That is pretty cool because everything that the core team works on, the core code, all of that will be available in there, in that Elastos, the GitHub repository handled by the Elastos Foundation. In addition to that, the main goal behind Cyber Republic GitHub profile is so that we can actually, in the future, we can have some senior developers in the Cyber Republic community actually join in as, maybe even as admins of the GitHub profile, and basically also we'll be using the Cyber Republic to build different frameworks, different services that on top of Elastos core code. So like what Clarence was saying earlier, like one of those functionalities, like for instance, providing like a Lambda service using carrier nodes. That is not something the Elastos core team will work on. That is something that we, in the Cyber Republic community, can work on together to develop frameworks so that we can make it as easy as possible, make it as streamlined as possible for other new developers to join in. So, in the future, the goal is to have it so easy that, new developers who want to develop applications for Elastos, instead of them having to look through 40 different repositories in the official GitHub Elastos Foundation page, GitHub page, they could just come to Cyber Republic page, and then they can pretty much get started right away without having to dive too deep into how the core code works, because we're planning on having lots of frameworks, lots of libraries, to start with, because we already have the C++ SDK available. That will be there for first and foremost, and then maybe expand that to Python, Golang, and all of the JavaScript frameworks out there. So to make it really easy for new developers coming in, so that they don't have to because when you come to the github.com/Elastos, you might get overwhelmed because you don't know where to start. So that's what we want to streamline. That's the purpose behind having a Cyber Republic GitHub repository, so that we can even have functionalities like services, one-stop services, maybe one-click service. Maybe we'll have like a bootstrap application that you can easily start up using this one command, and it'll have everything that you need to get started. Basically write you a simple application, and then you can customize it, tweak it, and then develop your own applications after that. So things like that. Elastos Foundation is very busy, and they will always be working on the core code, and we'll basically be taking that core code and build on top of it, so that there's that additional layer that developers don't have to worry about. Developers on new onboarding, new developers will be very, very easy, because they don't have to interact with the core code. They just have to interact with all the different frameworks that the community inside the developer community in Cyber Republic are able to build. So this way we can let the core team, sorry, work on everything that they do, and we'll just work on the Cyber Republic side so that we'll wrap everything and then make it as easy as possible. So another thing also, we're also planning on having a dedicated Cyber Republic YouTube channel. Again, the goal behind that is because we know that there's going to be there's already lots of communities out there all over the world, and there are constantly like recording their meetups, recording their anything that they have about Elastos. We'll be able to use Cyber Republic YouTube channel to upload all of these community-born videos, these meetup videos and contributions and things like that into our new Cyber Republic YouTube channel. And even the virtual meetups in the future, right now they're going to our official Elastos Foundation YouTube channel, but in the future they will be going to Cyber Republic YouTube channel. And all of that should be, all that info should be available sometime in the near future after the anniversary. All right. And also one last thing before I hand it over to Clarence, if he has anything to add, is we will have, as discussed in the last virtual meetup, we will have the weekly report for Cyber Republic. We want to have this weekly report by last Friday of August. And what this will contain is basically every week we will send out a weekly report similar to the one, the official one by the Elastos Foundation. But this is going to be a little different because this is going to be catered towards Cyber Republic contributors, right? So if there's any new tasks that are created, we'll include that as part of the Cyber Republic. If there's some new teams being formed, we'll include that here. If there's some new projects that are out there, we'll include that here, so that it'll be very easy for anyone who might not want to be on Cyber Republic like pretty much 24/7. They can still get updated through this newsletter for Cyber Republic, exclusive to Cyber Republic. So any of the community contributions, articles, videos, whatever, tutorials, we will also be putting that into this weekly report. So that's the weekly report. All right, I'm gonna hand over to Clarence. Clarence and Kevin, they did mention in the Toronto meetup about the some of the cool features like CR100 and Empower projects. We don't want to reveal too much about that because we're saving it for the anniversary, but there's a lot in the pipeline. We're going to have lots of community members join Cyber Republic, handling certain tasks, lots of projects for people to work on and things like that. So, all right, I'm going to unmute Clarence now. All right, you're unmuted.
Hi, cool. Not too much to say. Just wanted to, like KP is saying, leak a little bit of news that I did talk about at the Toronto meetup. We're about a week away or so from the anniversary event, and I think it's fine to talk about sort of the one thing that wasn't mentioned is that the marketing agency. So we are ramping up marketing in many forms, not just the marketing agency, but as we get closer to an actual SDK and actual apps being developed, we'll definitely start pushing to the public a lot more. So you expect a lot more coming out of the marketing side. Expansion-wise, we're going into Philippines, more into India. Like JP mentioned, we do already have the Singapore meetup set up. So we're still expanding, and we're going to expand even faster now that things are really starting to roll. That's pretty much it.
Awesome, thanks. All right. So I think that's it. So next meetup, obviously we don't have next meetup next week because we have the anniversary. Probably not the week after that either, but we will have, basically we want to have these meetups at least once every 3 weeks, if not every 2 weeks. So I don't have any, and also, for the future, because this is going to be Cyber Republic related, if anyone would like to facilitate, this virtual meetup in the future, let me know so that we can collaborate. So you can get, you can be upfront and actually talk about Elastos. Like if you're a developer, you want to talk about something that you did, you can have the mic and this virtual meetup. It's entirely up to whatever you guys want to do, and it doesn't have to be a developer, right? If you are not very, if you have anything to share, just let me know so that I can put it as part of this this meetup agenda so that you can talk about it, get some of your thoughts out. Anyways, last but not least, I'm gonna hand over to Kevin for some words of wisdom. I'm trying to find him. I can't find him. Oh, there it is. I'm going to unmute him. All right, you're unmuted, Kevin.
Yeah. Welcome. I don't have a word of wisdom for today, but I do have some questions for everybody. The first is good news. We have some T-shirts we're going to send as a gift.
I can't hear you, Kevin. I think you got cut off.
Pictures online. It's a black shirt. The front side is Elastos and the Czech Republic, and the back side is the Elastos logo there. So it's pretty cool. We have a lot of the T-shirts, but we haven't figured out what is the right way to utilize the T-shirts as a souvenir for the people. So I have some idea. The one is for the people who actually join the meeting, especially the recap and the online, the online recap and the online live streaming of the ceremony. We're going to have a kind of online form for the people who registered to join the meetup and those people who actually be in the online meeting before the meeting starts. So we encourage people to get into the meeting earlier. So if you get there like a few minutes before the meeting starts, we actually can share a link on the screen. So people can just log into the, click the link to the online form to register, and also to write down your name, your shipping address, and the size of shirt you're looking for. And then we're going to ship the T-shirts to you. And the form will be closed around the starting time. So if you want to get the T-shirt, you have to first register. The second, you have to be in the meeting before the meeting starts. And once the meeting starts, we actually can we'll close the online form, so you can no longer apply. So if you're late, sorry, you're late, you didn't get it. And also we may have some limits on how many teachers we give. So you can guarantee you can get the teachers from Elastos. The second question I'm asking is, so how we can get enough attention for the online community to go to our online meeting, the recap. As KP just mentioned, we have two recaps, Zoom meeting, Zoom webinar meetings online. One is 25th night and the 26th morning. So I have a little bit of concern is many people may not know we have an online meeting. And probably there will be like very few people join the meeting. So that is my concern. So I'm wondering if you have any idea how we can promote this online recap so that people will know and join. I hope we can have hundreds of people coming from all over the world to join our Zoom meeting. And we will give some gifts for the meeting. I hope those two meetings could be the largest online events we have so far. I just wondering how we can get people know it, what the strategy and what's the idea. So if you have any idea, either you can write down on the comments chat now, or you can raise your hand so KP can unmute you to share your idea. I don't really want to get the situation that we prepared a lot, but only 20 people coming to the events. That's kind of a shame. Won't be very happy doing that. So we need ideas how we're going to promote that to make sure more people jumping into the Zoom meeting. And also another thing is the video submit videos. So far we didn't get a lot. We got a few people submit the videos to say hello. Also, I'm wondering what is this incentive we can give so people can actively submit the video. I'm not sure it's too late or not. We only have one week left, so we just need ideas. The current problem we got is we did a lot of work, but the problem is only a limited audience know about the events we're coming. So we need more ideas on how we can promote. And yeah, pretty much the question we have. Oh, somebody got a idea. Oh yes, yes. Similar to US. Oh, got a lot of lot of suggestions. Okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. I'll read it later. But thank you for anybody who submits the ideas. We do need everyone help to build up. Only KP, Clarence, and I, we can prepare a lot of things, but if we don't have people to help us to promote, to get more audience to know Elastos, no separate public, our effort is kind of still be useless. So that's why we encourage people to give us idea. And also, if you have any idea on this kind of virtual meetup, we're going to have a virtual meetup almost every 2 weeks. So if you have an idea how we can get more people join, yeah, welcome. And what I think we can do, at least for the next meeting, is we're going to have a webinar. The Zoom meeting will be broadcast to YouTube. So the YouTube channel, the people who is on our YouTube channel will get notification. They can just join our meetup, online meetup. So next time we will have more people to know there will be a meeting and can join us. So this are some idea and also some requirement for everybody. And the last word is we actually are looking for people to help us doing a lot of things, including the video editing. We do offer the Ella attribute word. For example, after the ceremony, 25th ceremony, we will take some footage of the videos, and we're gonna record a lot of things, including the training. The training will be like 8 hours every day. We may need some people to help us to edit, to be a cut of some unnecessary part and post on the YouTube. We may need some people to help. So if you have some experiences on video editing, or you also like to learn, and you also want to help us to make the learning material much more like a professional looking, please contact us. We need some people to help us to edit the video. Okay, pretty much for me. And yeah, thank you everyone. And KP, you can take over.
All right. I think that's all we had. We're actually, I'm going to unmute Clarence again, and also you, Kevin, because I'm going to open it up to the audience, like if they have any questions, and then we can answer. All right, I think you both should be muted now. I think. Can you say something? Okay. If you have any questions, you can either put it on chat, or you can raise your hand, and then I'll
just respond to the suggestions about the reminders. Yeah, definitely. I think, well, like KP mentioned earlier, we'll have like a weekly Cyber Republic email that goes out. I'm sure we can add a little note about the virtual meetup in there too.
Oh, okay. Okay, I do see questions now. All right. How does Ella plan to scale business organization mass adoption across the globe? Is a business development manager role being considered to coordinate expansion, similar to EOS, Hedera, Hashgraph, who have adopted continent business development hubs to expand their ecosystem by actively approaching businesses to trial and implement their tech? So we are working with a PR agency and you know, we are going to work with them very closely in the future to get the word out to not just the investors but also to developers, so that we can try to get many developers on board. That's number one. Number two is we rely heavily on the community members themselves, because you know, it's easier that way for us, and also it's a good way to reward the community members instead of us having to do it ourselves, because you know, the community members can reach out, and that'll be part of the Empower program, right? Where you know, there will be a role where I think 5 people can join in, where all their job is to basically do that exact same thing that you talked about, like reaching out to other businesses, like talk to them about Elastos, and then basically we'll have another group of people who might have some other marketing background and whatever, like all these different kinds of things. We want to empower the community to do everything, because in the future, Cyber Republic is what's going to be like organizing this community that we're building in the future, like everything from code to onboarding different apps to everything. Like we want to be as decentralized and as open source as possible. So in the near future, yes, we will be working with we'll be doing a lot of setting up like a lot of the groundwork, but that's also one of the reasons why we are heavily going to invest in the community members themselves who have a rich background, and then they can work to get the word out and to grow our community organically instead of us doing everything, because that is just not possible with the scope of this project. It's just impossible for like 3 of us or 5 of us or even 10 of us to do everything. So that's the goal behind the Empower program. All right. Next question, Clarence just answered this. Maybe we could have exclusive announcements about the Cyber Republic at the virtual meetups. Oh, this is the other way around. So we will have those at the weekly reports. I feel like those will come out more often than the virtual meetups. I mean, we can still talk about we will still talk about the Cyber Republic, because these virtual meetups is for the community. So so anyone, like if you have a particular talk that you want to do regarding Elastos, then feel free to reach out to me, and then we can have you like dedicate like half an hour or something where you can lead, you can be in charge, and then talk about anything you want. So we can definitely coordinate something like that. So that we actually encourage that. So instead of us having to do everything, we actually, if you have some really interesting talk, then just reach out to me, and then we can have that be part of the next virtual meetup. And if you like have a tutorial or something like an app, whatever, yeah, it's the same thing, right? You can take over like half of the meeting, and lead that meetup if you want to. All right. Where's the other question? Wouldn't it be better to send the CR weekly report on another day than the Elastos Foundation weekly report? That's I'm wondering what's the reasoning behind that, because yeah, we can definitely do that, but then if we do that, people are going to have to remember like which day is this report, which day is that report. Instead of that, we'll just be like, hey, just get everything out like every Friday so that you can catch up on everything on Friday. So that was the goal behind that. And I'm also our weekly writer, Zach, for the official one. I'm going to be coordinating with him so that we don't have any sort of overlap between these 2 weekly reports, 2 different kinds, because these weekly reports should contain the information, should be as disjointed as possible, so that people actually want to read both of these weekly reports instead of just getting some bits and pieces on one and then like going into detail in the other one maybe. But we want to make these 2 reports as distinct as possible, because the official one, yeah, that will always have some thoughts and conclusions, the philosophical view side of things, and the news from the foundation itself, and then basically all the hard facts and the thoughts and conclusions. For the Cyber Republic weekly report, it'll exclusively be based on whatever people are working on in Cyber Republic, so that it's a very easy way for people to understand like what's going on, like what people are working on, if they can contribute, if there's any new task, whatever the case may be, and like all the previous meetups organized by the community and things like that. All right. Where will the recording of this meetup be posted? So for this meetup, it will still be posted on the official Elastos Foundation YouTube channel. And we have been posting all of the meetups on the official YouTube channel so far. After the anniversary, we will post these virtual meetups on Cyber Republic YouTube channel. And all of that will come with the with the official launch. So we'll have all that information on the Cyber Republic website, so don't worry about that. All right. Do you think we should announce we give away t-shirts and stickers to general public so that more people will join our online meeting? Well, that's a question from Kevin. I think that's a really good idea. I feel like that would definitely help people actually join our online meeting, because like even when it comes to putting out any sort of news like every day, every week, there's no way that you can any of us can go over into much detail, and so people usually have a lot of questions to ask. So these virtual online meetups that we have, it is to bridge that confusion and misconception that we did today with some of the technology. It's exactly for that purpose. So I feel like if more people join, then people will have less misconceptions about the Elastos in general. And so it's also a good idea to maybe have some sort of giveaways like every once in a while, so that people actually have incentive to join our online meeting. I like that idea. I don't know. All right, we got any more questions? I'm gonna give like 30 more seconds, and if not, we'll call it a day. All right, I got nothing. Oh, all right. So I got nothing. So that was it. Pretty short, I guess, right at the top of the hour. Thanks everyone for joining in, and we will put this video up on YouTube sometime later today, actually, hopefully, but definitely by tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.